dear viewers, and welcome to a new edition of our program Africa Today. In today's edition, we are going to talk about the peace agreements and the peace in Africa. And we'll start our episode with this news where the Foreign Ministry welcomed the Juba-sponsored deal between the Sudanese government and the armed groups aimed at ending decades of war. The Foreign Ministry stressed the importance of the agreement and reasserted that Egypt is supporting Sudan and its people in this critical phase in its history. The deal covers a number of issues from land ownership and separations and reparations and compensation to wealth and power sharing and the return of refugees and internally displaced people. Ending Sudan conflict has been a top priority of the transitional government in the power since Omar al-Bashir was ousted. And to shed more light on the peace in Africa, we are very much delighted to have with us over the phone Dr. Salah Abdallah, our political analyst. Dr. Abdallah, good afternoon to you. Dr. Abdallah?
Hello?
Hello, sir.
Hello?
Yes, Dr. Abdallah.
The voice is clear?
Yes, sir, I can hear you properly. Dr. Abdallah, how do you view the success of the peace efforts in Africa in the current phase?
Well, of course, the peace agreement which happened in Juba is one step forward for settlement and for stability.
Yes.
Of course, peace in Africa is needed because one of the major problems in Africa is instability.
Yes.
And because of instability, the economy usually deteriorates because there is no peace, there is no transport, there is no security.
Yes.
Of course, the investors can't invest in an environment which there is no stability and there is no safety.
Yes.
That's why we find most or a great number of African countries is deteriorated economically because of the instability and because of the civil war and because of the political problems.
Yes.
Now with this step, this gives a hope that the problems can be solved peacefully through negotiation and not through arms, and that other countries, of course, can do the same thing, hoping that we are looking for one day where all the African problems can be solved peacefully and there was an increase in the number of the stable society and the stable countries which can help and encourage the economy in these countries, which would be, of course, reflected on the standard of the ordinary citizen, and the people can find a better life, chance for jobs, more better health programs, more better education, all these facilities of life which can make the life in Africa more encourageable and more palatable, especially for the young generation in Africa.
Indeed, Dr. Abdallah, how does that latest deal between the Sudanese government and the rebels fall into line with the peace efforts in the African continent?
Well, Sudan is one of the countries which is important in Africa. And of course, the long time of fighting and the long times of problems which happened in Sudan was a very sad and tragedy. You know, Sudan now, since tens of years now, there is war in everything, war in Darfur, war in other parts of the countries, and of course this increased the problems of the country. Now, when the political leaders find a chance to sit together and to negotiate, and of course they find a help from neighbor countries like South Sudan. The president of South Sudan is also was encouraging towards the political solution. And of course, Egypt, one of the important countries which was pushing and helping and find solutions, political solutions to the problems of Sudan. And when we reach the level that they can sit together and negotiate, and they at the end find terms to agree on with and to sign a map for peace in Sudan and for human rights of Sudan, of course, this will reflect itself on the other countries in Africa, and it will give a model of how chronic problems can be solved in other areas in Africa, and at the end, it will be reflected in the way of peaceful Africa, and this will reflect itself, of course, or as I said, on the standard of the citizen, because number one, the refugees will return back to their own countries.
Yes.
This is number one. Number two, there will be a share of power, so there is no one team will take everything and will leave the others. Number three, there will be respect to the human rights and to the different aspects of the country. Number four, this would be reflected on the economy by encouraging the outside investors and the inside investors to try to invest in these countries, in Sudan and other countries. Especially, it is a rich countries. They have many resources, and if these resources can be invested in, I think this will be reflected positively on the economy of this country. So what happened in Cuba, I think, is a good sign to not to Sudan alone, but to all the neighbors and to all the hotspots in Africa, that there is another way than carrying the gun and kill each one the other. There is another way to sit together, to negotiate, to find a middle way solutions, and to help in solving the problems of the sufferings of the people in this country, which is, of course, suffering from famines and from running away to the neighbor countries and from diseases and from many problems. It's a good and encouraging step, and its results will appear in the coming few days.
Yes. Dr. Abdullah, how have wars actually in Africa impacted the economic and developmental aspects in the whole of the continent?
Well, you know, as I said, African countries is very rich in resources. They have the fertile lands, they have the water, they have many mineral resources, they have woods. It's a very rich country. But the problem is that the ethnic tribes in Africa is problems. Sharing the power is a problem because every group wants to have everything for himself and for his tribe and for the others. This is not in Sudan alone. It is in 70% of African countries, Only not more than 30% who are going in democratic way.
Yes.
Nowadays, when solving the problems peacefully like that, I think if this would be reflected in the other countries, you know, when you have a peace, this means that you have security. And when you have security, this means the people will feel safe to try to be activated and to have activity, whether in agriculture, in other aspects of economy. This, of course, will be reflected on the foreign countries, which will find a peaceful country, a stable country. Then the foreigner investors will find it a good chance to invest in the many fields in Sudan or in the other African countries which have the same situation like Sudan.
Yes.
If this happens, of course, this would be reflected on the standard in the society. You know,
Indeed.
why there is no good health program, why there is no good education, because there is no money. There is no money because fighting is taking all the money of the countries.
Indeed.
But when there is stability and there is peace and there is security and there is investment, where there will be a good chance for the young generation to work, there will be a good production, there will be increasing in the income of the citizen. This means that life will go in a better way, and at the end, the African countries can be rich countries. Of course,
Indeed.
The poverty in Africa is abnormal. The normal that the African countries can be rich countries, but the abnormality that the problems in Africa making these African countries a very poor country. So
Indeed,
we hope that this peace will be the way to a good economy and a good life for the African citizen.
Indeed, Dr. Salah Abdallah, our political economist and our expert in the African domain. Always a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you very much, Dr. Abdallah. And moving on with this report, where activists have warned that COVID-19 vaccine could be hoarded by rich countries in a race to inoculate their population first. More details in the following report by Samah Sharif.
South Africa and India have asked the World Trade Organization to waive some provisions in the international agreements that regulate intellectual property rights to speed up efforts to prevent, treat and contain the COVID-19 pandemic and make sure developing countries are not left behind. The countries argue in a joint submission to the Council for Trade-Related Aspects of Intellectual Property Rights dated Friday that without a rapid waiver of some existing safeguards for intellectual property rights, some countries, particularly developing ones that have been disproportionately impacted, would find it hard to access vaccines or medicines quickly. Activists have warned that a COVID-19 vaccine could be hoarded by rich countries in a race to inoculate their populations first. Some countries, including Britain, France, Germany, and the US, have ordered hundreds of millions of doses of potential vaccines even before clinical trials have shown they are effective. Poorer countries whose economies have been shattered by the pandemic are not in a position to place such bets. With the world surpassing 1 million confirmed COVID-19 deaths, urgency has grown. South Africa and India are seeking waivers to rules that relate to copyright, industrial designs, patents, and the protection of undisclosed information or trade secrets, and they propose that the waiver be in place until widespread vaccination is in place globally and most of the world has developed immunity to the coronavirus. The countries say there are significant concerns about whether new treatments and vaccines being developed for COVID-19 would be made available promptly and affordably to meet the global demand. Africa's 54 countries have teamed up during the COVID-19 pandemic to pursue equitable access to any effective vaccine. An African Union communiqué in June said governments around the world should remove all obstacles to any vaccine's swift and equitable distribution, including by making all intellectual property and technologies immediately available.
Dozens of coffins belonging to priests and clerics from the 26th dynasty near 2,500 years ago were put on a show in Egypt on Saturday, with archaeologists saying tens more were found in the Vasa Ara necropolis just days ago. More details in the following story by Samah Sharif.
59 coffins were discovered in August at the UNESCO World Heritage Site south of Cairo, buried in 3 10 to 12 meter shafts, along with 28 statues of the ancient Egyptian god Sekar, one of the most important funerary deities. They belong to priests and clerics from the 26th dynasty. The statement was made by Mustafa al-Waziri, Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities. The Egyptian archaeological mission behind the discovery had been active since 2018 and previously unveiled a cache of mummified animals and a well-preserved tomb of a 5th dynasty royal priest called Watier in the area. Waziri explained the team had uncovered the 3 shafts where the coffins were laid in perfect condition due to a protective seal that preserved them from chemical reactions. The mission will continue opening the coffins and studying their contents before their eventual display at the Grand Egyptian Museum, expected to open next year.
And finally, South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa applauded the appointment of South African coach Pitso Mosimane in Egypt's Al Ahly club. He hailed the club as Africa's most successful football club. More details follow.
South African President Cyril Ramaphosa praised the recent appointment of Pitso Mosimane as the coach of Egypt's champions, Ahly, saying the step is a demonstration of African unity. Ramaphosa said via the official website of the Presidency of the Republic of South Africa on Saturday morning that Pitso Mosimane will be missed as a force in South African football, but his appointment by the continent's flagship club strengthens the bonds of friendship between the two countries. Mosimane resigned from his post as the coach of Mamelodi Sundowns, whom he led to 5 South African League titles and a Champions League crown in 8 years, to take over at the record 8-time African champions Ahly on Thursday. Ahly's move for the 56-year-old took many by surprise, given their traditional preference to bring in European coaches. The presidential statement hailed Ahly as Africa's most successful football club, which has a long history of coaches from other continents, referring to the fact that Mosimane will be assisted by 3 countrymen, former citizens in Sundowns and Ahly. Mosimane takes over from Swiss René Weiler, who turned down Ahly's offer to stay until the end of the African Champions League campaign, saying the club had declined to give him time to discuss his future with his family back home. Under Weiler, the Red Devils romped to a 5th consecutive Egyptian Premier League title and reached the last 4 of the Champions League, the competition they crave much. Ahly had not won Africa's Blue Riband competition since 2013, losing 2 successive finals in 2017 and 2018. They face Morocco's Wydad in a mouth-watering 2-legged semi-final later this month.
Well, with that, our dear viewers, we come to the end of Africa Today for this edition. Till tomorrow with another quiz. Goodbye.